read of the audience before I probably talk about whatever I want to talk about, whatever I had to talk about. How many of you are students? Can I have a quick raise of hands? Okay, how many of you are professionals for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, whatever number of years? Okay, thank you. That gives a rough overview. Funny enough, some of you are both. I don't know how that happens. And I'm like, I'm a professional. I'm a student. But that's the interesting part of being a student and being everything, right? So a little about me. I manage most of the developer communities, all your GDG. By the way, who is the organizer of DevFest today? Any idea? I mean, could be louder because they deserve a louder cheer. So can you tell their name a little louder? Okay, yes, that is GDG Chennai. Similar to GDG Chennai, there are GDGs all over India and all over the world. And for the India is what I manage. And the best part of about my job is to travel, but at the same time, it's so tiring. But getting back to the business end of things, today, most part of things that I was probably here to introduce to you was already introduced through the videos. A lot of them spoke a lot about WTM programs, etc., etc. So I will quickly probably brush through another piece of things. A lot of us in, I think the boom that has started and every other person, when I was a founder myself running startups or running my own company, which was barely I found people who were talking about startups. But today, I mean, 7, 8 years down the lane after the acquisition and I left, everybody, every corner, talk to a student, talk to a professional, they want to talk about a company. So yes, we are on a mission as Google. We have earned so much. We have learned so much from the ecosystem of growing ourselves to a larger company. So we are on a mission to support our ecosystem equally because we all grow each other together, right? Together we can do so much more. So while on that mission, where do we stand? As Google team, we look at ourselves as a startup ourselves. So while we look at ourselves as a startup ourselves, we do have, so very nice picture. We happen to somehow get hold of this nice image where, okay, there's a little bit of back. There's a little bit of our founders in that image. We have a whole array of programs. I'll probably not talk about this as a nice animation to go by. So with so many programs, how do we look at ourselves? Even today, we at Google look at ourselves as a startup that is brewing and learning each and every day. That is why we have so many different ways of giving back. There's always a small caveat, right? Where learning from somebody's mistakes or the successes makes it way much more easier to avoid the same mistakes. So in the similar way, we intend to mentor and give back to the community which has given us so much. But yes, a little bit of bragging rights along the way because of so many programs is also that we have been able to get all these big numbers. You see a small billion number out there. I'll not run through the statistics. But leaving those aside, if you want to know more about it, more about the startups, more about what we are doing in Google for startups, that's your website. And then, yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But yes, little did you, I mean, that wouldn't be the end, isn't it? You want to know more about it, just displaying it. Most of these that I've displayed, you can just go to that one link and you can see it. So a little bit of deep dive. I am not going to give you a long talk, but introduce you to some of the programs that can help you down the lane, which our team is doing, especially in the world of startups and in the world of cloud. So the first part of it, as Google Cloud, we intend to support and enable all the possibilities within the era of space where we can help your startups or your solutions that you're developing to be tested and grown on Google Cloud. So the Google Cloud for Startups or the Cloud Credits program helps you receive initial. It depends on, there are a couple of criteria. You might receive credits from $2,000 to $100,000 to $300,000, depending on what stage and what way you qualify. So that is the link, and you can scan the QR code, get to know more about it, and start applying. And then the next part, we've spoken about one program which is about probably applying for cloud credits, but there's a lot more mentorship. There's always that phase as a startup. You start from that early phase, then you reach that mid stage, and you need a lot more. You start asking a lot more questions. You start asking questions about technology. You start asking questions about mentorship. You start asking questions about what is the direction you can head. And with an ecosystem as strong as what Google in itself has, with all the knowledge and the engineering capabilities, the startup school is specifically for the mid-stage startups, which mid to maybe a latter half of the stage, where they can get continued mentorship, and there are always going to be regular sessions which touch the deep topics. When I say deeper topics and the advanced topics, which will in turn help you both on the technology front and on the business front, so that you can get more mentorship. That is about startup school. You can scan the code, get to know more about it. This is something that happens week after week. There are sessions. So the next set of program is what we cherish a lot. One of the other part is Google Accelerator. Accelerator is the program where we are enabling all our startups starting with a boot camp, and then we take a quick on-site boot camp, and then we take all of the startups through a tailored mentorship for the next 3 months, followed by demo day in front of the investors. And during this tailored mentorship program, every startup has a different challenge. Every startup has a different necessity and a need, and they get access to the Google engineering capabilities and the mentorship from some of the finest uh, people and enablers within our ecosystem. Yes. So that is, the applications keeps rolling out in phases. Right now we are doing one very interesting class, some of our finest. The next set of series, there are a couple of things. We did speak about mentorship. We did speak about a few talks, but at the same time, there's so much happening in cloud. There's so much happening in Android. So what we call as cloud series is something that happens as a weekly series of technology talks, of business talks around cloud. And similarly, there's Android series, both pretty much functioning the same way, with we bring down some of the finest speakers or the people who are having hands-on experience and some of the business leaders to talk. So you can scan the QR code, register on those programs so that you get more information about them as and when they go. We have spoken a lot about diversity programs today, starting from your keynote to here. So as such, I think if you notice an interesting stat that the WTM program showed, they did mention that there are only 5% of women who are CEOs or whatever, right? So in that mission to make sure there is more support and a collective space for all the women to come forward or even grow and get better mentorship, we have the mentorship women startup clinic for women founders, and there's also, it's a tailored mentorship for all the women founders out there. So that's another program. We also have what we call as India office hours. This goes in two ways. One is it starts with a one-on-one mentorship, and then it also becomes a one-to-many mentorship sort of a program. It's not for everybody. It's a very invite-only startup, so you can always reach out to if there is something you seek, you need to be part of this mentorship group. please reach out to any of the Google team or maybe through the organizers. With that, I will park and say thank you. Those are the few links that you need to be aware of. There's also the cybersecurity scholarship program that's happening. I think it might have already been spoken about, or you will also find some of these QR codes on the standees across the venue. If you have any queries, you can also meet me outside, but I'll not keep you waiting. All enjoy your rest of the day and hope you have a good learning time here. Bye.